This is going to be a relatively deep video. I'm not saying deep as in like, oh, I'm the only one that said this, because I'm using what people have said before me and things have finally clicked, or at least are starting to click. So this might be a very long introduction. This might be a 3 to 4 minute introduction before I even get to the subject matter, all right? This is going to be a very, maybe, potentially, a very crude, like a very like me stuttering, me stopping to think about what I need to say first. This might be one of those videos because I want to make sure I get this right to the best of my ability. All right, to the best of my ability. So if I need to stop for a few seconds, it's going to be one of those because I want to make sure I get this right. All right. You know, I just had like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast moment while I was recording a whole nother video. And I just had to stop what I was doing and like try to get this one captured while it's fresh, while it's still in my mind, you know. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a disclaimer because I want to make sure that we are all on this wavelength. Before we even get to the disclaimers for the disclaimers. All right. I need y'all here with me on this one. You know what I'm saying? I need y'all here with me on this one because this is going to take some open-mindedness. For those of you that are hearing this information for the first time, this is going to take some open-mindedness. This is going to have to, like, you don't have to agree with everything I'm saying, but you need to at least ponder it. You need to at least go do your research on it for yourself. You need to get out of like kind of like what we're talking about here is like just because the truth hurts in certain regards does not mean it's not the truth. Just because you don't accept it does not mean it's not the truth. And that's what we're going to be talking about here once I actually get the video started. But disclaimer number one, I want it to be very, very clear. I do not have all of the information on what I'm about to be speaking on. Usually I speak on what I know. Usually I speak on, at least if I really don't know it, it's just a thought that I had. Usually I speak on things from experience, and I guess technically I did experience this, but we'll get into it. But nevertheless, I do not have all the information on this. I don't have a book I can point you to. I don't have a website that I can point you to. There's just things that I've been picking up along the way. Shout out to Rashad, Jamaal, especially for this one. Brother C Freeman, shout out to y'all because you were the ones that were talking about the subject matter that we are going to get into that made me have this beautiful epiphany moment. All right, so that's disclaimer number one. Disclaimer number two. We will be discussing black and white relations in this video. If that's something that makes you roll your eyes, oh, I don't want to hear this, then please vacate now. Okay? I guess disclaimer number 2.5, 3, whatever. You know, it's just like, I am not talking about certain things to make anybody feel better or worse about themselves. This is just raw information that I am just passing on out there, that I'm just sending out there into the world. That is my job to do it. There's another video that I was actually going to be recording, but it's like there's certain things that I can't talk about because it's too early. There's certain things that I can't talk about because I'm not allowed to. I have to have arguments with whoever my spiritual parents are. I'm like, yo, let me say it. And they're like, nope. Me having like my little childish tantrum. I'm like, yo, let me tell them. Let me say it. And then that's when I talk about like how like my words get all destroyed and then if you guys, really? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's like the type of stuff. But this one, I know I'm allowed to talk about because of the way it came to me. But I want to make sure I get it right. All right. So we will be discussing black and white relations. If you're not ready for that level of conversation, if you're not ready to hear some truths about our history, our pre-recorded history, pre-recorded or destroyed history, then feel free to click off now. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get started. All right. Like my typical videos. All right. How long was that intro? 4 minutes. I told you. But, you know, we are living in the age of Aquarius, right? The age of Aquarius is a time where the truth is being revealed. And sometimes the truth hurts. The truth hurts. But we live in this society at this current moment where if I don't accept it, it's not true. If I've never heard of that, it's fake, right? And y'all know my phrase from Carl Jung. It's like, I shall not commit the fashionable stupidity of regarding anything that I cannot explain as a fraud, right? Whether it's for me and hypes me up, or if it's something that's completely against me and it makes us look stupid. It makes us look like, how did y'all not see this? Nevertheless, when I hear new information, don't get me wrong, even I will have it. I bet that sounds dumb, but I'll keep it in the back of my head just in case. Because what if I'm wrong? What if I believed a false teaching? What if I've been believing in someone that's been leading me astray? That's why I always say I run away from leadership. I run away because what if people believe everything I say, but then I was wrong, and then I have to backtrack, and then that's why I always try to stay away from the spotlight. But then also too, one of the things I've grown into is I can be a leader and remind you to think for yourself. You are allowed to disagree with me. I am allowed to disagree with you. But one of the common denominators between both of us is that we can both say, hey, I've learned some new things. You were right. You know what I'm saying? And then we, like, being the victor of that one, you don't, ha, I told you, you freaking idiot. That's why you need to listen to me. No. Hey, see? All right. Now that we're both on the same accord, let's move forward together. You see what I'm saying? That's where we need to get to. Not, I was right, because our society is all about first, second, third, winners and losers and all that type of stuff. I live under the principle that we can all win. And I'm using all these words on purpose, like, you know, black people, white people, the way that we've been getting down and we have our histories and stuff. It's like, I'm saying this on purpose because this is going to be important when I get to like the real juicy stuff. All right. This is going to be very important with the things that I'm saying. All right. But keeping it very simple right now so we can build this up. You know, it's like let's keep it stupid. Republicans and Democrats, politics, right? If Republicans hear anything bad about the Republican Party that came from a Democrat, oh, you're just a stupid Democrat, even though what that Democrat may have said may have been an accurate observation. And likewise, if a Republican says anything about the Democrat, oh, those people on those lefties, oh, those leftists and all that type of stuff, a Democrat, but no, that's not true. Blah, blah, blah. You're just saying that because you're Republican. I mean, they're saying it because they're Republican because it may be an accurate observation. But just because you don't want to accept it doesn't mean it's not true. It's just you and your individualistic ego, your political affiliations, they don't allow you to think that, right? There are certain black people that say you should never work with the white man. The white man can't be trusted. There's white people that say all black people are hoodlums and all they do is kill themselves. Like, you know, by killing themselves, like shoot each other up and stuff. And it's like, okay. Well, there's truth on both sides of that. Yes, black people kill each other a lot, especially when they're in the hoods. Yo, you ain't from my hood, bro. You ain't wearing this bandana that was manufactured in China. You're wearing a blue bandana. We don't roll with that blood. I'm gangster, yo. You're wearing the wrong color bandana on this random piece of concrete that none of us own. I'm gonna shoot you because you trespassed. Is it not an accurate statement that black people be killing each other? Let's be real. But is it true that we are all hoodlums and gangsters? Is there anything hoodlum and gangster about me? Okay, then. So, just because there's truth intermixed with the lies doesn't mean that the truth doesn't prevail. Okay? White people can't be trusted. Well, this is slightly true in certain regards. I mean, for example, there was like a shout out to CashApp for sharing this video. There was like a TikTok where like some company tried to or did trademark Juneteenth, a historic black day, essentially. And if you don't know what Juneteenth is, go ahead and do your own research. And then a white man trademarked, or at least he's like the leader, CEO, whatever of the company, trademarked Juneteenth. That has nothing to do with you. How are you going to trademark something that is literally for black people? How are you going to trademark that? So then that could give credence to, we can't trust white people. But then, was it not true that white people helped black people during slavery to get them free? Didn't the Underground Railroad have some white people assisting them? Is it not white people that, and once again, I talked about this a couple times, is it not white people that have taught black people their own truths? Is it not white people that taught black people about their blackness? Mike Tyson's coach, who was he? Neville Goddard, my teacher, what color was he? You see what I'm saying? So we need to stop fighting one another. We need to stop learning something and then we use it to what's the word? To demonize the other side. See, another black man killed a black man. Look at them, how violent they are. White people. Ain't no black people choosing to go to war every day. So how many white people have you killed, white people? It's just your wars are so, like, our media just classifies it as war and not murder. You see what I'm saying? So this is just to let you know, this is just that introduction to get us started, all right? Now, one of the things, now we're going to start to get into it, all right? With that being said, we learn a lot of history about ourselves, especially when we start to get into meditation and when we start to rise with this vibration, when we live in the age of Aquarius. Some truths are going to make themselves known to me, or make themselves known to all of us, right? Now, there's some people that don't like their position being jeopardized, therefore, blah, 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 ignore. Or when it comes to this media, they're going to try to control the narrative. Right? There's all these fish dying. Oh, that was a bacterial outbreak in that particular river. This is something I learned from Kalai. You know, he was going through it and he's like, yo, look at this. Look at all these fish dying in these rivers, in these ponds and all this type of stuff. That is a symbolization of the end of the age of Pisces, which is symbolized by the fish. I think I got that right. It's like, that's the end of Pisces. So now we are moving into the age of Aquarius. I feel like I got that backwards. But either way, I'm just, you know, like it made some sense when he said it. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, that made sense. Even with me, I practice discernment. Okay, that makes sense. I don't necessarily get it, but I'll put that in the back, right? One of the things that I've learned is shout out to Rashad Jamaal, shout out to Brother C. Freeman, where they spread the information about the Moors. Okay, so the Moors were a group of black people, or what we call, okay, see, this is where like I'm having these brain blast moments are starting to conflict with the things that I've been saying. But we have these melanated individuals, carbonated people, native, quote, quote, native indigenous. I don't know where they came from, but once again, this is where me piecing some things together. It's like the Moors were the secret history of the world. The Moors were a group of so-called black people that literally got Europeans on their feet. And if you know, you know, quite literally. You know, if you know, you know. But like I said, that's some of the information that I'm not entitled to share because it's not mine to share. You know, but nevertheless, they're the ones that got European civilization started. That's what they made them, Europeans, and they made European civilization, civilized. Okay, I'm scraping the surface with this one. All right. Now, one of the deeper levels of understanding when it comes to the Moors is that the Moors were quite literally like gods, quite literally gods that came down here and they were building stuff. They did this. Once again, this is not all the information I have, but this is stuff I can't find in books. I don't really care about the documented history about what they did on the planet necessarily. I know that may sound ignorant. I care about that cosmic, like what's the real story? Like screw the books. Tell me, download that into me, and eventually if you ask, ye shall receive. All right. But the Moors were quite literally the gods walking around here, like getting things organized, getting things planned out. Okay, y'all do this, blah, bing, blah, 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 blah. That's my understanding of it thus far. Okay. One of my questions I asked him, like my question everything video, was like, okay, if we were gods, how the hell did we fall so far? If we were the gods, we could do this. We could levitate things with our minds. We could grow plants from the ground. We could summon animals. We could make it rain. We can summon fire. We can have gusts of wind. How did we turn into slaves? How did that happen? I don't get that. So don't get me wrong. Once again, that's something I had to use practice discernment with. We are gods. Okay, that sounds pretty good. But if we are these so-called gods, how did all this happen to us? I don't get that. That doesn't make sense to me, you know? And then going off of what Rashad Jamaal's been talking about, you know, free Rashad Jamaal, you know, it's like I see the game that's being played here, but he's still on mission. That's why I'm not stressed about it. They're saying, free him, free him. Do you know how much good he can do in there when he's surrounded by a lot of black and white people? Do you know how much unification can happen while he is in these prisons? He's on mission. He's protected. He's good. You know what I'm saying? Unless he comes back out saying some weird stuff, he's good. This is a part of his mission. So people saying, free him, y'all ain't seeing the bigger picture still. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to throw that in there. But nevertheless, it's like one of the things that he was saying was the Moors were the ones that were giving all the information to everybody. You know, because the Moors just said, hey, we're here to build. We're here to build. So I was like, okay, so the Moors gave information to our quote, quote, enemies. The Moors gave the information to the so-called white people. The Moors gave the information to the Greys. The Moors gave information to the Pleiadians, the bad ones. You know, the Moors gave information to all these different groups of people that ended up using it against us. So me, in my limited understanding of all that type of history, I was like, okay, well, if we are the creators of it, if we were, how did they use it against us if we were the ones that made it? How did the people that we taught it to, how did they use it better than us, right? So then when it comes back to this cosmic history, it's like what happened was, it's like, I think Rashad Jamaal said it was the Pleiadians, like the bad Pleiadians. The bad Pleiadians put some of the Moors under a spell. So then they began to use their higher level of knowledge against the other gods of this planet, the other neuromelanated individuals. So when they were going against it, it's like, oh, okay, that started to make sense. So it wasn't just those other entities, those other beings, if you will. It was they put a spell over the Moors that turned them against the others. So I was like, oh. So then they taught them all the secrets and stuff. So I was like, okay. So that's one of like the little brain blast things, like a lot of the pieces that the seeds were planted, they're finally sprouting in my mind now that I'm ready for that level of information. So I was like, okay, cool. So the Moors did that. They built up everything. They civilized everybody. They taught everybody stuff. But then at some point, once again, these are my like lapses in the understanding. The Pleiadians put a spell over them. Just like how we have the spell of time, we have this spell that made people turn against their own. Okay. And you see that in today's world, where black politicians only show up when someone black got shot. And that's the only time you hear from them. That's the only time you see them. And then they've been selling out their own. Oh, so you telling me if I get $3 million, I could do this? I find most rappers to be sellouts because they've been put under the spell of Hollywood. Once again, another Rashad Jamaal message. Hollywood. What is the Hollywood? That's the wood that the witches used to cast spells with, like the actual witches on the broomsticks and stuff. That's where that came from, the Hollywood. Hollywood is nothing but spell casting. That's all it is. But anyway, so I got that much. So then when I go back to that question of, okay, godliness and we are gods and neuromelanated people, like there's a very high likelihood that we come from God lineage and stuff. I was like, okay. And like I had that video too, where it's like, you know, Isis Wisdom, where she said, some of you may not be gods. Everyone's running around saying that they are a god, they are this, they are God. We are all gods. And I've said it myself in my come up as well. And then even I had to reflect on new information that became presented to me, even though it may hurt me to say I'm not a god, but maybe I'm an angel. But once again, I've been doing a lot of reflecting on this. It's like, no, I'm not trying to sound cocky. I'm not trying to sound like I'm above anybody. It just feels right. That's the one that makes sense to me. All these different things, they feel like, oh yeah, I remember them. Oh yeah, I remember them. But God's feels like family. The term God's feels like family to me. It feels like, nah, that one just fits a little bit more. I may have a very close association with the angels, like I always refer to with Dragon Ball Z. There's two characters, God, the god of destruction, Beerus, and Whis, his angel, and they have a very close relationship. That's why like both of those make sense to me. So once again, I'm still figuring things out about myself. But then I had another aha moment. I was like, well, how do I know I'm a god? How do I know? Like, how do I know this? But instead of just saying it and feeling it and having an understanding of it, I want to know. But then I started to put the pieces together. Something snapped in my brain where it was a moment where, like, from my grandfather's side, I remember there was a certain, I don't want to like put the, like, you know, get all the information out there, but like nevertheless, it was like his last name and Moore. So his last name Moore, like the hyphenated last name, it was the blah, blah, blah Moore. The blah, blah, blah Moore family reunion. I remember on the back of a t-shirt, right? And why did this memory randomly pop up in my brain? Because that was the key that triggered that train of thought. Wait, I have Moore in my blood. Oh, okay. And then that's why, because I have more in my blood, that's my connection to the godliness. So the gods are like the Moors are the type, and then like people's last names mean something. I'm gonna hit y'all with a zinger. It's like, and like after this point, it's like the last name came from the Moors because that's just how you identify. That's how your tribe. You know, like if your name is Lopez, you know that you have some Hispanic Latino heritage. If your last name is XI, like, Z or whatever, you have some type of, once again, I know I'm probably not using the right language, that's why I don't talk about y'all. But like, you have like some type of Oriental Asian thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like if your first name is Tyrone, I mean, it's a very good probability that, you know what I'm saying, you Tyrone. There ain't too many Tyrones out there that ain't black. You feel me? But nevertheless, your names mean something. When it comes to Morgan Freeman, right? Morgan Freeman, what's his last name? Freeman. So what does that imply? Somewhere down his lineage, he came from slaves, and at some point, somebody in his lineage became free. When slaves became free, a lot of them changed their last name from their slave master's name, which is a conversation I need to have with somebody. But nevertheless, it's like they changed their last name to get away from their slave master's name. So then they just said, well, Freeman, free man. I'm just going to name myself Free Man. Kind of like how freaking, was it Ron Artest? He just changed his last name to Meta World Peace. He just changed his name to Meta. He just kept changing his name based off of stuff that's been going on in his life. Something like names carry energy. When you spell your name, you are writing. What's the root word of writing? A rite, a ritual. So every time you say something, every time you spell something, every time you write something, you are casting a spell. So when you have the last names of our slave owners, you have the Washingtons, you got, I'm not sure, Lincolns, Jeffersons, you know what I'm saying? When you got these names, like, and some of us have got our names that have nothing to do with our lineage, nothing to do with Native American tribes, nothing to do with African names, nothing to do with our history, nothing to do with that. It's like we start to move away with it and we start to change our last names. Malcolm X. When people have the name X, they're the ones that got really woke to what's going on in this world and say, yo, I'm not going to have that last name. I'm just going to get rid of it. X. I'm going to X out that last name because that is not me. That comes from my slave masters, right? Now, this is something that I really don't have all the information on. But one of the things that we have, when you rise in consciousness, you become very aware. You become very conscious of the fact that everything that we have been taught is a lie. And when you go out there and become a truth seeker and you go out there and find the truth and you try to present it to other people, they ain't gonna be ready to hear that because that's not what they were taught in school. That's not real. So we've been taught that everything that we have been taught has been backwards, flipped upside down, and misconstrued. That's why I always poke holes in the Bible. You got people's names that are mentioned multiple times. This person was a ruler of such and such, and he ruled for 2,000 years. Flip a couple pages. This person was such and such, and he ruled for 20,000 years, or 20,000 people, or 2,000 people. One of them. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, there's inconsistencies because the lies and the truth were interwoven with one another. So it's very hard to pick out the truth and the false. That's why people on both sides of the Bible conversation pick and choose the things that they want to talk about. Because if you go from beginning to end and take every single word in there literally, it will make no sense. I think most people, even like the most devout Christians, will even acknowledge that. Well, you can't read everything literally. Exactly. The people that support the Bible, the people that are against the Bible will both say that there's things that you kind of just have to pick it and choose what you want. Now, that just comes from a place of bias where I will always pick the things that kind of go against the Bible's what's the word, completeness, if you will, for lack of a better word, completeness or whatever. And some people will only pick the things that support the Bible. Nevertheless, the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? The truth is somewhere in the middle. But with everything that we've been taught incorrectly, it's like it's been backwards. Like we've been taught we are black people. And this is something I forgot the way that she worded, but Isis Wisdom said, like, legally speaking, this world that we live in where we have to sign documents and contracts. First of all, con artist contract, the tract to be conned. To make sure you don't get conned, you sign this contract. That's the word, con or with tract, you see what I'm saying? The words, you have to break down these words and see what you're actually saying. All right. That's why Prince, the person I'm named after, the singer, the songwriter, the artist formerly known as Prince, you know, he didn't like to sign contracts. And now I understand. I get it. But anyway, I told y'all my brain, I have so many things I want to go over. This might end up being like an hour-long video. But anyway, it's like one of the things that Isis Wisdom said was that legally speaking, the language of our society right now with all of our contracts and terms and conditions and agreements that we don't read, too long did not read, TLDR, that's a term, you know, it's like too long didn't read it. That's all the rules and regulations that you are agreeing to when you click I accept or when you sign your name here. So you signed your name without reading that document. Is that a wise thing to do? In that document that you just signed your name on, it could have said, you now owe us your firstborn child. We have the right to take away everything from you. And but you didn't feel like reading it, so you just signed it, and boom, there you go. You signed it. Now you are legally binded. Look at all these words that don't sound too scientific, bound and legally obligated. Well, I guess that's the word. But anyway, y'all know what I mean. It's like you are literally signing pacts. You are literally participating in rituals when you write your name on that dotted line. But what she said was like along the lines of, I might have to clarify this, but when you literally identify as black, that's why like people like Kalai, he be talking about like, we are not black. He says, I am not black. A black man with locks longer than mine, you know, speaking certain truths. He says, I'm not black. You're not black. None of us are black. Black is a name that was given to us by certain individuals that conquered. When you are the conqueror, you can create history. So they called us black. Now, who said what the colors were originally? Who said that the apples were red? Who said that grass is green? Eventually, we were just taught everything. Everything we know. This shirt, unless you're colorblind or whatever, we have been taught that this shirt is red. This shirt may not be red. This shirt may be called, that might be the color of the shirt. But we don't know that because we were taught something else and we all agreed to it. We've all been conditioned to think a certain type of way. Yes, does it help with communication? Sure. But y'all see what I'm getting at here. When we were all told that we are black people and we have pride in being black, this might be like a little zinger or curveball, but this is like the same equivalent when women say, I'm a bad bitch, and you try to make that a good thing. You try to make being a bitch a good thing. We are trying to make black a good thing. Black doesn't mean what you think it is. What color of the crayon box is this? What's black about me? There's nothing black here. I'm not black. Quite literally, I am not black. This is brown. Some of y'all might get misconstrued. I'm not sure if y'all can see it, but look what color my hair is. My hair isn't even black. It's just dark brown. My eyes, they're dark brown. There's nothing black about it. So when we're running around saying we black, we're quite literally not black. And I'm going to get back to that point in a second, but while we're here, when we say we're African American, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but some of y'all have no ties to Africa. Some of you weren't born in Africa. Some of your heritage was not even from Africa. Yeah, we were in Africa and we dispersed. That's a theory. Some of us were born right here in what we call America. We started here, right here in America. Native Americans, Aboriginals, Native Indigenous, Native, Aboriginals, the originals were here. You know, like this is like a little bit like ones of the things that we can't put all together. Of course, there were slave ships, there was slave trade, but like all the things that we've kept throughout history, and we don't have not one slave ship that's still available. That just means it's like, wait a minute, like we may not have the whole story here. Yes, there was a slave trade. I believe that there was some type of slave trade. You know, that there were people that died. That's why the hurricanes, hurricanes, the mother divine, the hurricanes follow that same path from like the coast of Africa to the coast. You see what I'm saying? When you look at a map, that's why the highest concentrations of black people are still in the southern regions. You know, from Virginia down, where are the most black people at? The South Carolinas, North Carolinas, Georgias, And then like when it gets to Florida, then it just starts to make sense. Like, it's like, then you get into the like Cubans and stuff. Oh, wait, those are Cubans. Those are El Salvadorans. Those are whatever. All the people in quote, quote, Mexico and all that type of stuff. You have to understand something. If you are truly ready to really get your mind blown on certain things, I want y'all to go listen to Daylight, Daylyt, and go listen to his song Brown Skin. Daylight, Brown Skin. Go listen to that, because that's kind of like one of those things. Like, don't get me wrong, even all the stuff in there I don't 100% agree with, but it really gets you to think like, wait a minute. The Aztecs were black. The Olmec people were an original. I'm getting so off topic, but I'm gonna bring it back, I promise. But like the Olmecs, I told you this download's coming through. The Olmecs and the Aztecs were kind of like, first of all, a lot of you don't even know who the Olmecs are. Okay, I don't know the most about them. I learned that from Brother Yosef from the New Life Tools channel. Please go ahead and check him out. But like the Olmecs and the Aztecs, in my understanding, were the same. They're the same group of people, right? The Olmecs are the ones that actually originally created rubber. All right, and they used it without using all these crazy chemicals that we use nowadays. They found natural ways to create rubber. They did all this stuff. They were heavily connected, but the Olmecs and the Aztecs were the same. Go look up the Olmecs. Go look up their traits, and you will quickly find out that they are that's why black people have been saying so-called black people, so we have a level of understanding for communications. So we say the so-called black people, I'm gonna start saying that a lot more as well. So they have so-called black people traits. Go look at like an Olmec picture, and then go look at who's the dude with the grills? The old boxer that sold the damn it. I can see his face. What's his name? Not Freeman. George Foreman. Go look at George Foreman, and then go look at some of these pictures of the Olmecs, and go tell me that there's not some type of lineage there. Okay? But getting back to it, black. When you sign on to black, when you agree to being black, when you are filling out these forms that I am black, when you see that 13 black people were shot, black, what you are legally signing up for is you're pretty much saying you are dead. Black, you are nothing. You're not even 3/5 of a person. When you are agreeing to be black, you are dead. You are just saying, I have no rights. I am not a human. I am a black man. I am a black woman. Black has a different meaning than just a color. Once again, we live in the world of double speak. It's like, don't listen to the split tongue, quite literally, of the lizard reptilian people, and literally the double speak, because you don't know what you're saying. That is why conscious people don't be saying good morning, because morning, what is that? Why are you pouring your water? Right? Pour, P-O-U-R-I-N-G, or pour, P-O-O-R-I-N-G. You see what I'm saying? That's why they're very conscious of the words that they speak. That's why one day when I'm available to do it, I want to do like a month of not talking. I want to go on a month of literally not speaking a word, because that's how these monks do it. And that was like an old what was it? An alchemaic practice. Because once again, what you speak becomes true. So if you don't speak anything, only the things that you think become true. So that gives you one avenue to control what you are actually creating. I want to try that one day. I might try a weekend or something here and there. But nevertheless, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. How much time I got? Because I got to do work things in a little bit. Damn. All right. Anyway. So with that being said, when you're signing on to being black, you're signing on to say that you are nothing. Think about it. The way that it was taught to us about space. They said space is black. Actually, it's already been scientifically proven that space is dark green. But if you go play on like Microsoft Paint and you play with the colors, it's like it's gonna get, if you just drag it down, eventually everything looks so-called black. But if you were to say, like, if you were to look at your screen, the term black mirror, if you were to turn your phone off right now, or you go look at a screen around you, go look at your off TV or computer screen around you, what color is it? It's black. And if you were to ask a regular person, what's on the screen right now? Nothing. Nothing, huh? So when you're signing on to be black, you are saying that you are nothing, just like in Black Mirror. That's showing that how technology is destroying us, but that's another conversation. But nevertheless, a black typically means nothing is here. Now, I guess in finances, being in the black is a good thing, but for the sake of this type of conversation, we're focusing on this one. When you are black, you are looking at nothing. When you close your eyes, for those of you that, aren't there, when you close your eyes, what do you see? Black. You see nothing. So when you are signing on to say, I'm a black man, I'm sure in many of my other videos, I'm a black man. Hey guys, I'm black. I didn't know, but now I know. This is why a lot of so-called black people have been starting to say native indigenous, melanated, carbonated, neural melanin. They're using every word but black because the truth is starting to be revealed to us because the powers that be want to keep us down. And if we keep calling ourselves nothing, then we will continue to be nothing. Sure, I get it. I know we have black pride and that's used to build us up. But there's also another reason why we've been saying black pride, black power, black pride, black power, and we're still relatively in the same position because nothing has quite literally come from it. Nothing. The default thing, I don't know the right word to use, but default in nature, the default in the cosmos is existence. So literally, if you say nothing is there, that embodiment of nothing is there. That thing that you call nothing is there. Therefore, nothing can gain and accrue power. I'm not sure if I articulated that. If you get that, you get that. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at explaining that part. I know I dropped it well in a previous video, but I've been talking for a minute. But anyway, it's like you are still giving nothing power. So if we're saying black power, black power, black power, we're giving all of our power to nothing. Therefore, we will create nothing. Does that make sense? So us believing that we are black is a trap in 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 a trap. This is something that a lot of white people do not understand because you have been taught as well that you are above us. A lot of white people still believe, like when white people run around, like my experiences in college, when white kids are running around calling other black kids nigger, 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 it's like if you're only speaking down on me because you believe that you are above me. Now, that big bright thing in the sky is going to start to reveal some truths. And for you hateful white people, for the hateful white people, the hateful black people, the white people and black people that live under fear, and everybody in between, everybody else, you're going to be taken off of this planet one way or another. I don't know how that's going to go down. I'm not saying it's going to be a gruesome death. I'm just saying like we're splitting right now. I don't know if our dimensions are going to split and you're only going to be around high vibrational people or you're just going to get zapped into some apocalyptic looking world. I don't know. Once again, I don't know everything. I'm just going with what I'm going with. All right. That's why I said this video can get kind of deep. I've seen a couple of comments and stuff in different videos where they say like, well, I'm white. Am I going to get zapped? Am I going to be blah, blah, blah? And some people say, yeah, good luck. Peace. But even I can't believe that because like, I feel like I'm going down my old past history where I want everybody to win. You know, my best friend is white, so-called. And we got to talk about that in a second. But my best friend is so-called white. That's why I got to start adding the so-called to that as well. Right? My best friend is white, so it was the Moors that turned against their people and they taught the white man how to take control. Well, as we've gone through the history, they were put under a spell and they worked against you. They didn't do it intentionally. They were put under a spell. And that's why. That's like the misconstrued thing where some people say the Moors were great and some people say the Moors were like the bad guys, because there's like that little bit that I'm not sure if they know that level of the cosmic history. But anyway, it's like I made this joke with my friend when I figured out like a little bit about the Moors. It's like, hey, so apparently the Moors helped the white people. And then because we helped y'all then took us over. He's like, oh, look at you repeating history. And like that's just how we joke around with one another. You know what I'm saying? But like, nevertheless, look at me doing it. It's in my blood to help people. It's in my blood to disseminate information. It's in my blood to teach. But what's also in my blood is my divinity. So everything is starting to make sense to me now. I'm starting to wake up more and more and more to who I know I already am. But the thing is, some of the so-called white people, the Caucasians or whatever you want to call them, some truths are being revealed to you as well. And some of the things are pretty and some of them are grotesque. But the same could be true about black people that don't know about the treatment that we have undergone in this society, right? That is why certain so-called black families, are so against interracial dating, as pretty much every other race. But not only is some black people, it's almost like a state of ignorance of how against they are a black man, a white woman, white man, black woman, that type of stuff. Because there's certain things that they know about, but they just can't remember it anymore. But it's like it almost comes across as ignorance. It almost comes across as racism, because those whiteies, don't bring no white girl into my house. Don't bring a white man or a black man in my house. Because we've been taught to hate one another. But once we all get aligned, stop hating and lying. Because I saw an interesting picture. I told you my mind is all over the place with this one. It's like the peace sign. They said that the Kemetic original peace was this, right? Then the Eurocentric version of peace was this, which implies separation. So even you've seen me do it. Hey, peace, 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 peace. You know what I'm saying? It should be peace. Because then again, what is this? This is a mudra, which means balance, harmony. So why would you mess up this mudra? Mudras are ways to channel the energy that's flowing through you. Like I said, I've given this example before. Clap your hands. You feel your hands tingle. That's all the energy that is now being dispersed through your body. When you watch things like Naruto, when they're doing the freaking hand singles and they throw the fireballs out and stuff, they're doing an energy thing, so they can channel the certain type of energy to do the right thing. The truth is right in front of you all the time. Use hand signals, use mudras to have certain impacts over your body. So when we're running around being taught that this is peace, wait, this was the original one. Why did we change this? Well, the Eurocentric mindset, they have been literally I guess destroying too, but they've actually been creating the history in their own making. When you draw things, when you write a book, aren't they inspired by things in your mind? And if you are a so-called white person and you are only surrounded by white people, aren't all the characters in your stories going to be white? When black children draw stories, they draw people that look like them. I was a very avid user of the black crayon, the brown crayon. When I remember I have this a thing that my mom still has in the computer room. I'm not sure if it's still there, but it's like a picture when it was me apologizing. It was either me apologizing or I just wanted to do something nice for my mom. And when you write, hold on, where's my pen? Oh, here we go. It's like when you still write like this, it's like, and I was like, I love you, mommy. And I drew her in a triangle. I think she has a red dress. And I drew her in this brown and drew her little hair and say, I love you, mommy. It's like I used that brown crayon. I'm pretty sure I did. Right? But nevertheless, you make things from your own image. We were all made in the Lord's image. Are we all not creators? Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, Dravidian, all this type of stuff. Aren't we all creators? When we go make things, if we go stay in the hotel and you're someone that uses the prayer rug thing to do your prayers and stuff, aren't you going to bring that rug with you everywhere you go? Aren't you going to make your living space, even if you're sitting in a hotel, aren't you going to make it yours? I'm sitting in the truck right now and I'm using things from my world. I have a bunch of crystals in my dashboard that are being charged by the sun right now. Don't you create everything in your image? See, the difference between black people, so-called black people, and European white people is white people want to control. As we are seeing this is a white-run world. And they want control. They want fear. Go look at the news. Don't work together. Don't listen to that. We're going to silence everyone that talks about these types of things. We're going to shut them down. We're going to call them crazy. They're crazy. Don't go to the crazy man. Stay away from him. They teach separation. They teach fear. They teach anger. They teach rage. This is something that has been the European mindset is dictated by the patriarchal society that the feminists are arguing about. Everything is the man. An Ab Soul song is like, go look in the Bible. The woman didn't say not one word in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that's the case. Maybe someone mentioned, but women are definitely disproportionately represented in the Bible. How are you going to listen to a whole book where half of the population didn't get to speak? You know what I'm saying? The Christian cross is derived from the quote quote African or the Kemetic Ankh, like the one that's like this, and then it goes down with the cross in it. It's like all they did was they took out the top part, the circle, the oval, which is the vagina, which is a symbolic of the feminine. They took that out. So if the top part is the feminine, that line shows the union between the feminine and the masculine. Well, the bottom part is the masculine, and they took out the feminine. So what's that last little segment? Oh, they replaced the feminine aspect of things with the straight up masculine. You see what I'm saying? This shit gets really deep, and I'm not even talking about some of the stuff I'm sitting on that I know is true. No, understand is true, but I can't. It's not time, or it's not my job to disseminate that type of information. You understand? I'm not telling you this, once again, to make white people feel bad. I'm not doing this to make black people feel stupid. I'm not doing this to do this is the type of stuff. But you have to understand, bringing it full circle to why I had this epiphany, our names are very important. Our history is very important. Our true history is important, not just our taught history, okay? With his story, the whole Bible was speaking from the perspective of a man. All of the books of the Bible were written by individual scholars, or what we've been learning about is William Shakespeare helped write the Bible. Okay? They used some of the truth to hide their lies. Okay? Go do your research on this type of stuff. Once again, you don't have to agree with me, but go hear me and be like, okay, that does make sense, and that's all I need. The last thing I said I was going to touch on is like the white and black thing. We've been taught everything is up, everything is, what's up is down, what's left is right. We've been taught everything backwards and upside down and flipped around. Flip down, flick it in the reverse, sit like Missy Elliott. You know, it's like, but that's pretty much what's been going on. Because white means that no color up from the visible light spectrum, white means all of that light was reflected. That means that the object, let's just use the black line in this and my paper, right? It's like, so we got this paper and it got waterlogged, but we got this white and we got black, right? Black absorbed all of that light. Therefore, the so-called color black is all of the colors. We are taught that black is none of the colors. No, black absorbed all of it. Therefore, that material has absorbed all of the colors. Therefore, that black nothingness, quote, quote, material actually contains all of the light. This white piece of paper, let me see if can I get it? The sun's down here. But anyway, it's like this white piece of paper reflects everything. So, like, you know, like people have to wear shades when it's like, like, you know, like snowboarders, they have to wear goggles because of how bright the snow is. The snow is reflecting all of the light back to you. Therefore, it contains absolutely no color. You know, it contains none of them, technically speaking, you know. So black people, we absorb everything through our melanin. We absorb everything. Therefore, we are everything. And I'm not saying white people are nothing. That's not what I'm trying to make that relation towards. But there's a reason why that thing that's reflecting everything, you're starting to reflect it back. You're not absorbing as much of it. That is why white people's skin cannot absorb as much sunlight as mine. We absorb it. You reflect it. And when you, like, of course, you still, like, all white people have some melanin, but they are quite literally defined as melanin deficient. Okay? So you can't absorb the sun. That's why the sun affects you differently than me. White people, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, who's really white? Who's really black? You see what I'm saying? Once again, I'm not trying to bring it back to say that the white people are nothing or anything like that, but I'm just being you know, and then like, I'm gonna give you all the, I'm gonna go out on a limb with this one. Okay. And I'm gonna let you do your own research. Okay. But like I said, we've been taught these backward truths about ourselves as so-called black people, as native indigenous individuals, right? But you have to think about something. We were taught that we were monkeys. We were taught that our lineage comes from monkeys. We were taught our lineage comes from monkeys and this type of stuff. That's not really the case. And if we've been taught the opposite about one another, what does that say about certain people? And then you start to learn certain traits about different people's makeups, like genetic makeups, and you're like, oh wait, there's some huge differences here, like huge. And that goes to explain some certain things, but I'm getting out of my domain. I just wanted to just drop that little tidbit on you real quick. The last thing I want to drop is like going back to the names. I have more in my bloodline. Quite literally, I am connected back to that. I found my way back. I get it now. Now that I know where I came from, I can now know where I'm going, you know? But I make that white and black comparison because we have to look at one person's name. We all know this dude. I the Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Please, like, I want y'all to pause this one for those of you that want to go look it up yourselves, I'm going to ask you this question, pause the video, and then Google it. And you're going to know where I'm going with the rest of it. And for those of you that don't feel like Googling it, I'll tell you this one. Schwarz. I took German and Spanish. Schwarz means black. Schwarz means black. Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarz, black, and nigger. Schwarzenegger, black and nigger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, this white man's last name is literally black Negro. And that lineage came from way down the line. So, wait, why were they calling themselves the black people? And why are all the black people taking on white names? I'm just asking questions for a friend. Once again, this message was not here to promote hatred or separation, but sometimes like the truth needs to be revealed so everybody can move with the right information. Something I learned from Zen Wombs. Information means to be in formation. If you have a group of people, like a football team that's disorganized, they don't have the right information to get the job done efficiently, right? They're out of formation, so they look messed up. There's holes in their defense, right? You have to have the right information so you know which way to move. The plants, the animals, everything on this planet goes from the information from the sun. It's not just the heat. It's not just the warmth. It's not just that. It's the information, the inside of me formation of me knowing what I need to do. It's the information that like takes that little capsule from a seed to a plant. How does an acorn turn into a big ass tree? It had the information. It had the formation within itself. How does a caterpillar grow wings? It grew from information. That's what was being pumped on this earth right now from that big bright thing up there. And some people can't handle it. You know, go tell someone they're being cheated on. No, bro. No, that's not the case. No. Go tell someone, like, you know, no disrespect, not to get morbid to end this video off, you know, but go tell someone that they're about to die. Oh no, oh God. They can't handle the information that's being presented to them. Aren't we seeing that on a grand scale nowadays? Some people got really riled up by this video. Some people didn't make it this long, damn near an hour in. But, I mean, tell me where I'm truthfully and factually wrong. Or tell me at least that I didn't make sense on some of the things I was saying. I know I got really wordy and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And there's so many things I want to say, but I actually have to go participate in my, like, little 40 minutes of work before I come sit back on this hill for another 4 hours. But nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and leave y'all with this one. If I get another download like this and I have to recover everything, and I can make this like a 6-hour video, I will do that at some point. But until then, to the next one. Peace.